Okay, so Akron. What was my question about Akron? All right, let's just pull it up because I can't. The one I'm concerned about, the team that I want to talk about most is Ball State because what's going on with Kylie. But we'll get there. All right, let's start with some coaching staff. Same staff, right? Well, Fessler's gone.
Yeah, they're. I believe it's Moorhead going to call the plays now, right? And Moorhead is 4-20 in his time at Akron, so it's been rough since he got there. He was at Mississippi State, wasn't very good there.
But what's the but? He might finally have a quarterback that could play a little bit.
Yes, I thought they did a pretty good job getting Ben Finley, the transfer quarterback. They needed that. That helps them a ton. Their offense was awful. They were 127th in beta rank last year, but Finley is a guy that, I mean, he didn't wow you, but he's better than what they had, and I think him coming here, he had to come here because he wasn't going to start at Cal anymore because Mendoza took over there. But in his limited playing time there, he was fine. Bringing in a quarterback is so important in the MAC because if you go through all the quarterbacks, there's a lot of good ones, and I think he's toward the top of the list. And this offense, it desperately needed it. You see the numbers; they're all red for a reason. 129th in yards per play passing, 120th in yards per carry. I mean, I don't even know. That's awful. I mean, there's nothing really you can say about that. That's
just... these are really bad. And okay, so let's go to returning starters because this is what I'm concerned about. Is Ben Finley not the best numbers when pressured? Not that most quarterbacks do struggle when pressured. That's not unusual. But he was particularly bad. His passer rating, I think it was, when pressured. Akron struggled to protect the quarterback last year. They're only returning 3 offensive starters. So okay, you got the coach who wants to throw the ball. Oh, that's another thing, because where's the frequency numbers? They like to throw the ball. They're 12th in pass frequency. So you have a head coach in Moorhead that wants to throw the ball. You give him a quarterback that has some talent in Finley. Can you keep him safe with 3 returning starters?
Yeah, the O-line last year, the pass blocking numbers are just as bad as every other number. From what I've read, and their additions, I believe, show the guys don't have the greatest grades in terms of bringing in O-linemen. They did bring in a Lyons. He's a guard. They brought in a tackle, Eli Fields. But these guys are low grades at the schools that they were at, so you don't expect them to come in and be great right away. That's my biggest concern for this team, because obviously defensively they were really good last year, or they were just part of the course in the MAC. They're a pretty good defense. They all are, but their offense was so much worse than everybody else's, and this is a spot where I think it's probably going to be the downfall of this team. If they're not able to block anybody, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, how good your running backs are, however you feel. They can't block anybody. They're an awful team. If he's on his ass all day, all game, they can't get the ball moving. And I think that's my number one concern from this team as well. Bad O-lines can ruin a team, and you can have all the talent in the world. They don't have the talent. From what I've seen, Phil Steele says that they are talented, but that's a great way to say, well, they got talented players. Doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing I will say is Akron has some nice defensive numbers. First of all, look at the returning production. 56th in returning defensive production. And for a MAC team, that's really good because these smaller conferences are really struggling to hold on to their players. So they're bringing back 6 defensive starters. And it's not like this was a trash defense last year. Check this out. So Akron's defense, let me make this graphic a little bigger so you guys can see it. So 44th in yards per play allowed, 38th in success rate, 48th in points per play allowed, I believe. It's the same as EPA, estimated points allowed. PPA is a similar metric to that. Look at the pass defense, 22nd in success rate. So this was a good MAC defense last year that brought back 6 starters. So if this defense is good again, which it should be, may allow Moorhead to be a little conservative with his play calling, maybe get the ball out quick, take some quicker shots. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
This team will probably come down to how we'll see. I mean, they got a brutal schedule to start, but we'll see them. If their O-line is competitive, then it will help them a ton. But they're going to have a rude awakening the first few weeks of the season.
So let's go. Speaking of which, let's look at the schedule. Here it is.
Yeah.
They open up.
3 of their first 4 games are
brutal.
They
open up in Columbus, loss. At Rutgers, loss.
One of the best defensive lines in the country they're going to be facing in Rutgers. That's not a joke either. That's serious.
No, they're
going to
get their shit kicked in by Rutgers.
Colgate will be a win.
Yeah, that's a win. Then at South Carolina, loss. What do the Bobcats look like this year? Did
Ohio's an improved team. They're going to be better.
Did they lose a lot of the pieces on defense, though?
Yes, defense will be...
Well, that's all they had last year was defense.
Their offense did bring in a running back. They have a good running back room at Ohio this year, and their quarterback's Parker Navarro this year. So they like what they have. I think in this situation, going to Ohio will be a rough one for Akron. It's a rivalry game, so it's big, but
it's probably a loss. I'm just saying, Ohio's offense sucked. Even when Rourke came back from injury, they were so bad. All they had last year was a defense, and if that defense, they lost a lot of pieces, Ohio could potentially be really bad this year.
I do want to mention that Akron has not beaten Ohio since 2017, so that is
maybe this is the year. So let's say probably lost for the 28th. Yeah. Probably lost. Home, I think Bowling Green might be good this year.
Yeah, Bowling Green's going to be
they're
Bowling
good.
Green's going to contend for the top of this conference. And
I don't know. I haven't looked at Western Michigan yet.
On the road at Western Michigan, I have listed as a loss. It's more of a toss-up, but
how about we call Western Michigan and Ohio questionables? We'll give them one of those. Yeah. They steal one. So that puts them at 2 wins. Home Eastern Michigan.
They're going to beat Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan
win.
does not look like a good team. Buffalo's probably the worst team in this conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo's awful.
That's 3.
And I have them a 0-3 the rest of the way.
You'll lose to Kent State?
Yeah, Kent State, that'll be a battle of two terrible teams.
I know. I remember the game last year.
Kent State's not terrible. They're a bit improved, but they're still going to be bad. I think that'll be a close one. Toledo's going to be a very good team, and Northern Illinois is always a tough place.
They're not going to go up into NIU on November 13th and win, and they'll lose to Toledo. But Kent State's winnable. Buffalo, they win. So there's Buffalo, Eastern Michigan, Colgate. There's 3. Either they have to steal one of Western Michigan, Ohio, or Kent State. I think they could steal one.
I have them 3-9. I think that if you bet the 4 wins, if you're betting them, you're asking them, and I know it sounds stupid, you're asking to double their win total from last year after
I don't care
not returning much of an offense. I mean, bringing in Finley's great. Are they going to block for him? Are they going to be able to get anything done on offense? Their defense is fine. Obviously, it was very good. It was pretty solid last year, and a lot of them are back. But you're asking them to win 2 more games for a team with a tougher schedule. I don't see it.
I think they win one of those. So I'm putting the.
You're going over? I got them under.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll put them at 4. I don't know if this is one that I bet. So far, my favorite's that UTEP one.
Yeah. UTEP and Western Kentucky are my 2 favorites to this point that we've gone over. Yeah, this is tough because once you get down to like 3.5, you're betting on a team to win 2 or 3 games is really tough for me to take their unders. I'm taking it, but I probably won't bet them to win 3 games.